All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is March something, March 12th. It is chapter 9, Science of Getting Rich, How to Use the Will. That's a conversation this evening. So we will get started. Do this over here real quick. Okay. And we should be live. Yep. All right. Chapter 9, How to Use the Will. To start about getting rich in a scientific way, understand that this is a scientific way. This isn't emotional. This isn't feel good. This isn't some kind of theory. This is actual science that's been proven. Said about getting rich in a scientific way, you do not try to apply your willpower anything to outside of yourself. Epictetus said it best in his, I forget what it's called, the book. He said, for those of you that have desire, put it on the shelf. Until such time you realize what is within your circle of control and what's outside your circle of control. Once you get clear on that, what you truly have control over and what you don't, go back and pick up your desire, because you'll never have another bad day. That's 2,000 years ago. Do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside of yourself, trying to fix somebody, trying to hope somebody else gets better, trying to hope some opportunity comes to you. This is all about you, baby. You got no right to do so anyways, says the next line. It is wrong to apply your will to other men and women in order to get them to do what you wish done. That's all worth repeating again. To set about getting rich in a scientific way, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside of yourself. You have no right to do so anyway. It is wrong to apply your will to another man or woman in order to get them to do what you wish done. It is as flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental powers as it is to coerce them by physical power. As you begin to understand the power that you have with your own thoughts, you got to promise to use it for good. If compelling people by physical force to do things for you reduces them to slavery, compelling them by mental means accomplishes exactly the same thing. The only difference is the methods. If taking things from people by physical force is robbery, then taking things by mental force is also robbery. In principle, there is no difference. You have no right to use your willpower upon other people, even for his own good, because you do not know what is for his good. That's a hard one. That was a hard one for me to learn. I learned that probably 30 years ago. All too often, if people, how many of you have ever been in a store? Been in a store and they ask the clerk, somebody comes in, they're lost and they ask for directions and they ask the clerk. This one I know will probably drive you a little nuts. They ask the clerk for directions. And the clerk doesn't know the directions, but you do. What's typically what happens? You know the answers, you know the directions. You jump up and you give them directions like, "Oh, thank you so much." And even the clerk says, "Thank you. I didn't know where that was. That's so cool you knew." Did they ask you? It'll turn your crank sideways 72 ways to Sunday. You can't open your mouth unless they asked you. That's an example of putting your will upon another. No, but they're lost. They're trying to find it. I get it. I understand it. This is the thing about from the last chapter. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing them in a certain way. How many of you feel like people sometimes take advantage of you? They ask you and ask you and ask you and ask you, and you keep giving, and you get nothing back. It's because you give when you weren't even asked. It's a huge shift, but it's a slight change the way you look at things, so the things you look at change. You have no right to use your willpower upon another person, even for his own good, because you do not know what is his good. What is for his good. The science of getting rich does not require you to apply power or force of getting rich is the science of getting rich does not require you to apply power or force to any person in any way whatsoever. There is not the slightest necessity for doing so. Indeed, any attempt to use your will upon others will only tend to defeat your purpose. And that's hard. We want to give, we want to feel good. We want to feel good when we do stuff. And if I could give you something, oh my gosh, I know the answer to that. They didn't ask you. When I shifted that, things began to open up dramatically in my favor for my good when I stopped giving away stuff that people didn't ask for. You need not apply your will to things for them to come to you. That would simply be trying to coerce God and would be foolish and useless as well as irreverent. You do not have to compel God to give you good things any more than you have to use your willpower to make the sun rise. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or to make stubborn or rebellious forces do your bidding. The thinking substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than you are to get it. Let me say that one again. The thinking substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than you are to get it. What you are seeking is seeking you, and it's more excited to come to you than you are to get it. Think about that. Think about that. When you know what to think and do, you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do right things, the right things. This is the legitimate use of the will in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course, use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in a certain way. Oh, this is so good. Do not try to project your will or thoughts or your mind out into space to act on things or people. Keep your mind at home. It can accomplish more there than anywhere else. Use your mind to form a mental image of what you want and to hold that vision with faith and purpose. Use your will to keep your mind working the right way. The more steady and continuous your faith and purpose, the more rapidly you will get rich because you will make only positive impressions upon the formless substance. You will not neutralize or offset them by negative impressions. The formless substance receives a picture of your desires and allows this picture to penetrate it to great distances. The formless substance receives a picture of your desires and allows this picture to penetrate it, the formless substance, to great distances, perhaps throughout the entire universe. And as this impression spreads, all things are set moving toward its realization. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and everything yet uncreated are stirred toward bringing into being that which you want. Let that settle for just a moment. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and the things yet uncreated are stirred toward bringing into being that which you want. This is the most powerful use of your time, is to understand this science of getting rich. All forces begin to exert in that direction. All things begin to move toward you. The minds of people everywhere, the minds of people everywhere are influenced toward doing the things necessary to filling your desires. And they work for you unconsciously. I order something from Amazon. I don't tell my Amazon driver to show up here. I don't tell the UPS truck to show up here and deliver my Amazon package. It happens. They all move in my favor when I order my product to be shipped via UPS, right? But you can check all this by starting, oh, here you go. But you can check this if you really want to test it. If you want to test it, you could test it. Here's how you test it. But you can check all this by starting a negative impression in the formless substance. Doubt or unbelief is as certain to start a movement away from you as faith and purpose are to start one towards you. How many things today, listen carefully, how many things today did you doubt? How many times did you doubt yourself? How many times I know I did when I was building the shed over there, because I had this bit that was in the end of this extender that wasn't magnetic and it kept falling out on the ground. And I'd be like, it happens. Doubt and unbelief is as certain to start a movement away from you as faith and purpose are to start one toward you. But by not understanding this, most people fail when they try to make use of mental science to get rich. Every hour and moment you spend in giving heed to doubts and fears, every hour you spend in worry, every hour in which your soul is possessed by unbelief, sets a current away from you, through the whole dominion of the intelligent substance. They say when you speak your words, they vibrate a molecule on the edge of the universe. This is always law of attraction. If your energy dipped today, that was movement away from you. If you got frustrated today, that was energy moving away from you. All the promises are unto them that believe, and unto them only. He who has will have more. All the promises are unto them that believe, and unto them only. Notice how insistent Jesus was upon this point of belief in his examples of teaching. Now you know the reason why. Since belief is all important, it behooves you, excuse me, it behooves you to guard your thoughts. And as your beliefs will be shaped to a very great extent by those things you observe and think about, it is important that you focus your attention. Here the will comes into use, because by means of your will, you determine the objects of your attention. If you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty. Things are not brought into being by thinking about their opposites. Health is never attained by studying disease or thinking about disease. Righteousness is not to be promoted by studying sin and thinking about sin. And no one ever got rich by studying poverty and thinking about poverty. Ooh, snap. Medicine is a science. If disease has increased, medicine is a science of disease. I'm sorry. Medicine as a science of disease has increased disease. Religion is a science of sin and has promoted sin. And economics economics as a study of poverty will fill the world with the wretchedness and want. Do not talk about poverty. Do not investigate it or concern yourself with it. Never mind what its causes are. You have nothing to do with them. What concerns you is the cure. Do not spend your time in charitable work or charity movements. All charity only tends to perpetuate the wretchedness it aims to eradicate. I do not say that you should not be a hard-hearted, that you should be hard-hearted or unkind or refuse to hear the cry of need, but you must not try to eradicate poverty in any of the conventional ways. Put poverty behind you. Put all that pertains to it behind you and make good. You cannot hold the mental image which is necessary to make you rich if you fill your mind with pictures of poverty. Do not read books or papers which give accounts of the wretchedness or the tenement dwellers or the horrors of child labor. Do not read anything which fills your mind with gloomy images of want or suffering. Also, TV. Do not use your TV to fill your mind with want and suffering. You cannot help the poor in the least by knowing about these things. The widespread knowledge of circumstances of the poor do not tend at all to do away with poverty. What tends to do away with poverty is not the getting of pictures of poverty in your mind, but getting pictures of wealth into the minds of the poor. You are not deserting the poor in their misery when you refuse to allow your mind to be filled with the pictures of that misery. Poverty can be done away with, not by increasing the number of well-to-do people who think about poverty, but by increasing the number of poor people who succeed in getting rich through the exercise of faith and purpose. The poor do not need charity, they need inspiration. Charity only sends them a loaf of bread to keep them alive in their wretchedness and gives them an entertainment to make them forget for an hour or two. But inspiration will cause them to rise out of their misery. If you want to help the poor, demonstrate to them that they can become rich. Prove it by getting rich yourself. Prove it by getting rich yourself. The only way in which poverty will ever be banished from the world is by getting a large and consistently increasing number of people to practice the teachings of this book. People must be taught to become rich by creation, not by competition. People must be taught to become rich by creation and not competition. Every person who becomes rich by competition kicks down the ladder by which he rises and keeps others down. But every person who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow him and inspires them to do so. You are not showing hardness of heart or an unfeeling disposition when you refuse to pity poverty or to think or talk about it or listen to those who do talk about it. Use your will to keep your mind off the subject of poverty and to keep your mind fixed with faith and purpose on the vision that you want. How to use your will. Questions, comments, thoughts? Yes, Vicky.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
The thought that I had, and I don't know why this came up, but it did, so there's a reason.
Okay.
That I always know. I used the word stumble, and it went in differently. Because when you stumble, you've let go of choice. You're not choosing. So you're reinforcing incapacity, not the strength of who we are when we make clear choices. And it really hit me because I use that word no more. Because it's representative to me, if I'm hearing correctly, that we have both of these sides. And at some point, we make a choice. Now, I also know that a piece of that stuff is I get confused with things.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have reasons, quote, why that happens. But I do know, and I don't have an understanding of this, and yet I have a sense that it fits into what we're talking about. So I wanted to raise it. I have been a warrior all my life.
Hmm?
I mean, all I could say is I was a tough bitch from New York. Don't get in my way. But something in me, my warrior is saying, no more, no more. You have to do it differently. And I don't understand all those parts and that kind of thing,
Well,
but that message is coming through so clearly. I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
so there's a difference between the warrior who battles and the warrior who protects. Think of the UN, right? UN peacekeepers. They're warriors. They're there to keep the peace. They're usually going into conflicts where there's warriors who are not wanting peace. So, with the shift that your warrior is suggesting is saying no more fight. Now it's peacekeeping. Now it's designed. Now the warrior in you maybe is looking for a way to say, I'm going to keep the peace and I will fight tooth and nail to keep the peace. It's a battle to keep the peace, to keep your energy, to use
Yes.
your will, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
as you now have this, after this chapter, how to use your will, don't speak of poverty, don't speak of disease, don't speak of anything. Use your will, use your power, use your willpower to focus on the thing, the gratitude, the thing that's already done. Even with the chaos all around, Napoleon Bonaparte said the definition of a leader is somebody who can keep their head when the whole world around them is in chaos. That's how to use your will. So how can you lead yourself with all of the things that are challenging or maybe not challenging or more challenging, or things that are happening in anyone's world? If it looks like everything is hitting the fan, you have to ask yourself, am I safe? And is this an illusion that will pass? Right? The phrase, this too shall pass. Everything shall pass. The good will not be good anymore. The good can become great, but the good will pass. The bad will pass. The average will pass. The great will pass. This is where we get to use our mind and say, isn't this fascinating? I love this. I love this because this will soon transition. And that's where we get to use our will. And it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing those things in a certain way. And that is the most difficult part of becoming rich through the science, is understanding that detailed focus, that absolute laser focused on the target, not on the chaos.
Yes. And so what's fascinating to me is as I'm hearing this, I was saying, huh, I thought that was only old people that have that kind of detail. I'm realizing, no, that's probably it explains a lot of my past, both my successes and my failures. And I'm real clear that there were moments in my life when I was very powerful and right or wrong took on one of the most powerful women in New York City and survived her. Although all my bosses got fired. She
So
was
here's the
getting them
thing.
fired.
Here's the evidence. Remember, we need to go find our evidence. There's not a single thing you're experiencing right now that's tougher than that woman. So don't cower. You have evidence that you survived it. You have evidence that you thrived through it. All of these things, when everything is chaos and disaster around us, we have to say, this is only one experience that I'm going through right now. Do you know how many experiences I've been through that I can recognize that this is shiitake on a stick? I've been through every one of them. We have to embody the success that we already have. Just because it's a new unknown challenge, we have skills. We have thousands of experiences and evidences that we've gotten through challenges with unknown skills that we developed instantly. When that sinks in, when I work with people to get that to sink in, do you realize how many times you've been through hell and back? Oh, yeah, a lot. The only reason that this looks new is because you haven't been through it. You will get through it.
Yeah.
So then the question is why struggle now? Because if you're in the struggle, the only thing the universe can bring you is struggle. We have to have our evidence. We have to have this thing that says, really, is that all you got? The solution, and the solution comes with every problem, just like every joy comes with has a problem. Every joy has its own problem, and every problem has its own joy. We have to consciously use our will to find the solution. Now, sometimes we're asked more often to find the solutions in all of the opportunities that we're faced with, but it's after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And then when the joy comes through, we're like, oh. And because we're so used to finding the solution, listen carefully, we're so used to finding the solution, we're wired to find the solution in the problem. We're also wired to find the problem in the joy. And we kick ourselves in the shin. We're wired to find the solution. We're wired to find the opposite of what we're sitting in because we're not paying attention to what we're sitting in. Oh, I'm having a bad day. I got to find a way to have a good day. Oh, I found a way to have a good day. I'm having a good day. Oh, I got to find a way to have a bad day. I don't want to find a way, but we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And we've wired ourselves to find the opposite of whatever we're in. We can't sit in joy for eternity. Why not? We sit in misery for weeks and months and years. Why can't we sit in joy?
I love it.
Gratitude. It's always reliable. Hey, Ada.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, Vicky. You're welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi.
I'm afraid to move because sometimes I get lost and then I can't get back to the call.
Well, then don't move. Hey, Ada.
There was one sentence. It said, if you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how do you study riches and wealth if you've never seen it and poverty or lack is all around you?
So I can promise you this. The poverty that's around you, could it be worse?
Oh, yes.
So then it ain't poverty.
Mm.
Don't call it poverty if it's riches. I promise you it's 100 times richer than some people who are in Calcutta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I do always try to I always look at the brighter side of things, and I guess this is just like training from even working in the ER. I'd always be like, oh, well, the crap I'm going through is not as bad as what they're going through. They're literally fighting for their life. So I'd always look at the brighter side of things. But I'm like,
And
okay, it could be brighter. So how do I get
well,
to
so
that?
it could be brighter, but be grateful for the brightness that it is. And then because you're grateful for the brightness that it is, guess what the universe has to bring you? More things to be
Yeah.
grateful for the brightness.
Okay.
I know it sounds
So,
odd and it sounds crazy and it sounds, but you don't, Sean, you don't know. Trust me. I have no
yeah.
clue what you're going through, but I can promise you, you probably wouldn't want to have gone through what I went through. I wouldn't want to go through
Yeah.
what you went through. I went through mine. Mine was hard enough, challenging enough, difficult enough, all of that stuff enough. But it's so hard to look for the good things when the chaos is all around because we don't have willpower.
Yeah. The thing I'm thinking is like I have such like highs and lows in like my financial world. It's like literally like as soon as I get caught up, it'll turn the complete opposite again, where I'll be
Listen to your
like,
words. Listen, right?
yep,
If you don't listen carefully, I love you. If you don't want to, if you don't want to be in poverty, don't become a student of poverty. What you just shared, my love, is that when I
yeah,
do good things, the bad things happen. You've just created poverty to come in. Right after your riches, poverty is coming. You just asked for it. You just explained it. I'm not trying to be loud or mean, or I'm just saying this is how we have been wired. I got great success. And then usually what happens is it all goes away. The
yeah.
next level of success hasn't happened yet, but you've just wired that it's got to go away.
How do you stop that pattern from
So,
happening?
so you speak only in the good. You speak only in the gratitude. I am so grateful for the next level of income that's coming to me because, right, the because is so powerful because I get to have more and I get to give more. Okay, so
Mm,
there's one statement. My level of the increase of my income is going to continue to catapult, and I will expand my capabilities to understand this new wealth. So much so that more and more wealth comes to me because I can use it efficiently, effectively, and I can give more to those in need. We have to start the ball rolling and we have to use expansion, creativity, and thought process. We literally have to think ourselves rich. What
mm,
is the ultimate desire? What is the thing that you want the money for? It's never the money, it's never the income, it's what you want it for. I want to make sure my children have college tuitions paid for by the time they're 15. I want to make sure I have an investment program to take care of my older kids so that I can continue to support them and help them when they need their challenges, their rainy day money.
mm.
We have to start thinking new thoughts, new ways. And what happens is neuroplasticity kicks in and your brain's starting to go, okay, well, if you could do that, and you're no longer using the negative, the lack as the filter through which to think through. My mentor said to me one time 20 years ago, he said, if you want to worry, listen, you want to worry about something? I said, not really. He says, but if you did want to worry about something, why don't you worry about being too rich and too skinny? Like nobody worries about that. You could. You could. So that's how that shifts. You have to, and this is where it's exhausting. You could ask Daniela about this. It's exhausting to become aware of your thoughts. You can ask Amber. She's been doing something when we've been working on something that she has to pay attention to whether her thoughts are taking her upstream, kicking and fighting and paddling upstream or downstream. And it's these slight little switches. Well, one day I plan to have the garage built. No, it's built now. It can't be built anytime in the future. It always has to be built now. Your wealth has to be now. Everything that you want has to be now. Well, I don't have it now. Welcome to the world of chaos. The only time you can be wealthy is now. Literally now. I don't care if it's 20 years from now, it will be now. Or if it's 5 minutes from now, it will be now. And the only reason that those will come to you 5 minutes or 20 years from now is because of the now that's right now that you're in the state of mind, how you use your will, how you think about things in a certain way. And you have to be lit with energy. You have to be in this magnetic field. Oh, I want joy to come to me. When's joy coming to me? I did my gratitude. Joy didn't come to me. Joy wouldn't want to show up with you. You're sitting on a park bench and I'll walk right by you. Wealth ain't coming to you when you're like, it's always a problem. When's it going to be my turn? The universe says everything you ask for, I will give you. When's it going to be your turn? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's spin the wheel.
I was just going to ask about the state of impatience.
The state of what?
Impatience.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Don't, you
so
can't be
does that
impatient.
just like,
how-
does that just make it shoo away?
Yeah, but how could, yeah, absolutely it does. So how could you be impatient if it's now? Think about that for a second. This is huge. If I hope I can do a good enough job to help you grasp this. I hope I can. I'm praying that I can, because if this triggers for all of you, all of impatience is you not being in the now. And you thinking you understand the gestation period of a good idea. Anybody want to tell me the gestation period of a good idea? I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a clue, but I know that it'll happen now. It can only happen now. There is no other time that anything can happen. Tell me what other time something could happen other than now. I dare you. I double dog dare you. The only time something can ever happen, good, bad, happy, sad, joyous, any of the 35,000 different emotions we've identified, it can only happen now. There is no other time than now. Worry is because you're not in the now. Worry is you're in the future. Sadness is you're thinking about the past. When you're in the now, there's nothing wrong with the now. It's you in between your breaths and in between your heartbeat shooting out into the different times on this plane of your life, on this path of your life into the past or the future, and you're either sad or you're worried. You get into the now, joy, baby, joy, and then you get a choice in the now, joy or misery.
So how does that work with your statement of you're building your future from your future? Because everything is now and
So
future,
how
like
do
in
you
the same time.
how do you want your future to be?
Different than what it is right now.
Okay, but you got to give clear. Different doesn't give the universe any. And listen, we ordered takeout tonight. Michelle asked me what I wanted. I said I want catfish. They said they didn't have catfish. Did I not eat? Did I go, well, I ain't eating. Screw it. No, I said I'll have a Reuben. And they had a Reuben. I know how Reuben is cooked. They know how Reuben is cooked. I've had their Reuben before. I know what to expect. Can you give the universe your order? Different. Listen, if I said, well, you don't have catfish, surprise me. If you've ever been a server and somebody goes, surprise me, you're like, the hell am I supposed to get? All right, I don't know. I'll give you clam chowder. You said, are you surprised? Surprise. The universe is so excited to give you what you want. Ask for it. Ask for it. Ask for it. Ask for it. Not, I don't know. I want better. Then ask for it. What does it look like? Get into details. Get into details.
Okay.
We spend more time ordering our food. Excuse me. Do you the lasagna? How's that cooked? Is that no meat lasagna? Or is that meat? Is that with ricotta cheese and manicotti, or is that with the? Is that with the? Do you have gluten-free noodles? Right. People have more understanding of how to order their $9 Starbucks coffee than they do to get their dreams, and it drives me crazy. Because those are the same people go, I don't know why I'm stuck. Are you really? Yep, really. Wow. Jim Rohn would say that's a clue. So I don't study how to order at Starbucks because that doesn't make me rich. I don't know how to order at Starbucks. I seriously don't. I still get confused with venti, latte, and grande, and I was like, just get. So what I get, you know what I get? Give me a triple shot of espresso. That's all. I know how to get triple shot of espresso, and I can put some sugar in it. I can put this in, and done. Would you like that with right? There's an old joke my dad used to tell. This Polak, right? When we used to tell Polak jokes, right? That's when long time ago. So this Polak comes to New York and he doesn't speak English, and somebody teaches him how to go order breakfast. And he says, apple, a pie, and coffee. So every day he'd get apple pie and coffee. Can I take your order? Apple pie and coffee. And so he'd get an apple pie and coffee. Somebody says in Polish, in Polish, they said, why don't you order eggs and bacon? I don't know how to say eggs and bacon in English. So they teach him eggs and bacon. And then he practiced egg and bacon, eggs and bacon, eggs and bacon, eggs and bacon, eggs. And, oh, I'm going to have eggs and bacon. He goes in, they go, can we take your order? Eggs and bacon. How do you want the eggs cooked? Oh, apple pie and coffee. If you don't know how to order your life, you're going to get stuff you don't want. So how is the state? Strategy doesn't get you anywhere. State gets you there. When you stay in the state of joy with giggles and laughter with your kiddos, when you're in one of those high states, begin to manifest. Begin to manifest in that moment. Take that energy and throw it into the future and go, here's what I want my future. I want to feel this in my future tenfold, and let the strategy unfold. The challenge is we can't order the future because we're trying to tell it the strategy, and it goes, your strategy sucks. Tells me all the time, your strategy sucks. You want good strategy? Let me do it. You stay in state. Tell me how you want to feel, and I'll deliver what you want. Just that way. That help?
Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around some of it.
So the key is state. So just spend your energy and your effort monitoring the way you feel. And if you're not at level 10, get to an 8 as fast as you can.
Okay.
And just stay in state and watch strategies unfold, Ada. I promise you, you stay in state with as strong as you are and as powerful as you are, and as a mom with the gifts that you have to offer the world through a mom brain, literally through a mom brain. It's like no other brain in the world, I promise you. When you're in state, when you're elevated and laughing, say, I want this in my future. Just say that. I want this in my future. I want this in my future. And all of a sudden, they'll laugh again. The kids will laugh again. And you'll go, oh my God, that's even funnier. Say, I want this in my future. This is the state I choose, and ask for that.
And it'll just show up.
Yep. The strategy will always show up, my dear. I promise you, the strategy will always show up. Okay. We try to force the strategy from a negative state, wanting a good energetic strategy, and it doesn't work. It can't work that way. It's like trying to take the soup out of the microwave and then you never turn the timer on. But I put it in the microwave. Yeah, but you never turned it on. Turning on your future is hitting the start button of your energy, of your state. Takes a little bit, but when it clicks, it'll click for you here almost immediately as you begin to allow it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, good evening, Sharon.
Good evening. I'm loving this. I turned you on YouTube on my TV screen, and then I realized, oh, but I can't participate if I do that. So I turned you on my phone.
Sharon turned me on twice. Yeah, baby.
I got you. I got you. And I'm just loving the conversation. It's like I've heard these words so many times, but they keep on going in better and better. So this is really fun. And I noticed today I had an aha turnaround, because in the morning I do this, what did I do yesterday that I don't want to do again? And then what do I want it to really look like? And one of the things that I have been, processing there is, I don't want to complain about technology. I don't want to feel incompetent. I don't want to feel overwhelm and speak that into existence. And I like notice all of the things that I've ever done that have been undermining me about what I'm wanting to do, and switched it to, I can do this. And I had 5 hours of fun focus today on technology things. And inside me, it was like this shift of, I'm always saying how I don't like technology, but the reality is I love technology. I just want to be better at it.
I love it. Congratulations.
so it was like this ginormous shift inside me, and I've had an amazing day. So now it's like taking that to the next level, and noticing what. So I'm just playing with it, and I got this garden, little indoor garden the other day in memory of Lydia that I'm loving, and I'm sitting right next to it when I'm at the working, and I look up and I see tulips and hyacinth and my orchids and this blooming jasmine and cut tulips, and it's just fun for me.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
I put them on the desk instead of my computer. I hate the desk for the computer, but for my garden, it's perfect. So.
Love it. Congratulations. And here's the thing, right? May the best of your yesterdays.
Oh, I love that, Sean. Every day gets better and better. And as part of me is like, well, is it the supplements? If the supplements help, they help. But they're not.
It don't matter. It's happening.
It's happening, and I've learned to trust my muscle testing more. Ruth reminded me that I'm getting better and better at it, which I am. And so when I have a question about something, I muscle test it.
Love it.
So I can. It's like everything lines up. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Ada Louise, because I know the question you're asking is so real, but we get to jump beyond it. And I love, Sean, how you acknowledge that it can change in a heartbeat right now. So thank you.
And it usually will. I love it. I'm just going to check because she had some questions. We were chatting earlier. Amber, you may be doing mom stuff. Any of your questions? She may be doing mom stuff. Okay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's chapter 8. And then chapter 9, I'm sorry, that was chapter 9. Chapter 10 is further use of the will. So we're going to go into more stuff tomorrow on further use of the will. This is good stuff. I mean, and I've read this book, I don't know, a couple hundred times, and there's still some sentences in here was that really in there before? So I'm thinking it was. I don't think my book rewrote itself, but it could. That's how powerful the universe is. So use your will, be aware. And this is where you'll hear Danielle and I sometimes on the morning call kid around about awareness. When you use your will, it forces you into becoming aware. And your awareness, when you use your will, you become aware of whether I'm going to do more of that or less of that. And that is the key to changing your state and ramping up your state, because then once your state ramps up and your vibration and your energy ramps up, the strategies come too. So I appreciate y'all. I love you tons. Cool things happening here at the ranch. Can't wait to see y'all soon. We've got 60 people coming out for the eclipse. It's going to be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so I'm excited. We're going to make it fun, and I'm going to charge $10 at the petting zoo for the sheep. All right, everybody. I'll see you in the morning. Have an amazing, fun-filled life and a fun-filled night. I'll see you all where?
At the next event.
The next event.
I love it, love it, love it. Y'all get some rest and dream sweet, because you deserve it. Love you tons. See y'all in the morning. Bye for now.
Thank you, Sean. Love you guys. Have a good night.